Come on. What's going on, guys? It's Dan and Tom here from the TableTennisDailyAcademy.com. In today's video, we're going to teach you exactly how to do the heavy backspin serve.
Yeah, you might have also heard this serve called the Go Serve. Ex-national team player Marlin made this serve famous with a YouTube video when he's spinning the ball back to the net with so much backspin.
Yeah, it really is incredible serve, Tom. In this video, we're going to go for a step-by-step guide on exactly how to do it.
We've also recently teamed up with professional player Per Garel, who's known as one of the best servers in the world, to create a serving masterclass course. So don't forget to click the links below and check that out.
But for now, let's get to this Go Serve tutorial. Okay guys, so step one, you don't even need a table tennis table for this. You can practice it at home, carpet, floor, wherever you are, and you're just gonna look at getting the feeling. In this step, we're just trying to get the feeling on the brush on the ball. And this is key. Without getting the feeling, it's very difficult to master this serve. Also, what's great about learning this serve is it really helps you in all the other serves in table tennis, because once you've got that feeling and touch, the serves become a lot easier. So first up, my goal here is to try and get the ball to spin back to me on the floor. So let's go. Okay, nice. Now the way I did that is firstly key to make sure I've got the right grip. So finger and thumb onto my bat. That gives me a good control with my hand to bat, and then the three fingers come off my bat like so. So I'm just focusing on the finger and thumb, and they're adjacent to each other on the rubbers. So one more, throw the ball in the air, bring my wrist back and brush under. Okay, now most likely if you've never done this before, the first thing which will happen will be you'll do this serve and the ball will go forward, even though you're trying to cut on the ball. Now, what's key is making sure you've got your bat flat. This is going to be the key thing throughout this whole video. If your bat is flat, or even a bit more vertical, you can brush on the back of the ball, and that's where the spin comes from. And also you can hear that sound. Okay, now simply with this motion now, when you've developed this on the floor, let's bring it straight to the table. Now on the table, I'm not worrying about if the ball goes over the net. I'm just trying to copy that same principle on the table. If you see there, the ball is spinning back with backspin. Even come over the net there. And we're just trying to brush through. So what's key in step one, really don't move on to step two until you've mastered step one on being able to brush the ball. And another little cool trick in this step is just seeing if you can spin the ball in your hand. Accelerating with the wrist, you're trying to get that fine brushing motion with a loose hand, loose wrist. Okay, so step two, now we've mastered the basic feeling and getting that backspin, we're now going to try and create a strong backspin serve on the table.
We are indeed.
So shall I do a couple?
Let's have a look. So a couple things to really concentrate on here that Dan's doing. He's keeping his elbow quite close into the body, and that gives additional control to the serve. A lot of players end up serving the backspin serve, and there is a big gap between the elbow and body, and that makes it very hard to repeat and actually get the consistency and control. So close to the body with the elbow, and he's actually looking for a relatively quick acceleration into the ball. A lot of players often they're very safe with the serve, and without acceleration, it's hard to generate that heavy amount of backspin that we're trying to get.
It's a good point, Tom, because you don't want to be too safe in this. Make sure you try and use a lot of wrist acceleration and then you start getting the control. So sometimes it may go long. And what's important, that's going to go long there, yeah, is trying to land in the middle area of your table when you bounce and contacting the ball low. If you contact it low and you're brushing through with that flat bat, like I said, if I have my bat angled down, which we see amongst many players, Tom, the bat angles downwards and you do this serve, it doesn't matter about how much wrist you put on it, it's just going to go long. I can use all the wrist acceleration in the world. It's just not going to happen. That bat level flat, which is absolutely fundamentally key. Cutting underneath the ball. Ooh.
Now, I think another common error we see a lot, guys, is players going for this backspin serve. They're trying to get backspin down. Let's have a look. And they drop the top of the bat down. Right, let's see what happens if you do that. So, Dan serves. Still getting a lot of spin, but you're going around the side of the ball and you're not going to be able to bring the ball back to you and get heavy amounts of backspin. So what's really important is you don't allow the top of the bat to drop. You've got to keep it neutral and flat, as Dan's demonstrating here. One more look. So very flat with the bat, and that should come back in a relatively straight line. And that's what you're looking for to get that heavy backspin. So if we take a look at Dan here doing the serve in slow motion, you can see he's really drawing the wrist back with that good flat angle that we spoke about. and he's accelerating through with that fast wrist action, and that's allowing him to get that good contact underneath the ball. Now this can take time to develop, this wrist acceleration, but with practice you will really improve it, and that's going to take your serve to the next level in terms of generating spin.
Hey guys, so step 3, if you're struggling again, go back to step 1 where you're spinning it on the ground, on the floor, and getting that initial concept. But in this step now, we're trying to be a bit more advanced. We're going to try and get the backspin to go right to the white line and then spin back. You want to try and get your backspin serves deep. If they go too short and high, then the players can flick them. So you want to get it nice and low. It means you've got to contact the ball low. We're trying to get it to the white line and then come back.
Now to do this, there's a lot of different elements that come together. So obviously the brush that we spoke about, the wrist acceleration, the flat bat angle in the previous points. What we want to look at here, something additional, another tip. As you contact the ball, you're almost looking to squeeze with the finger and thumb, just as you're contacting the ball, just to give you that firmness that allows you to brush underneath. Now what we don't want is a tense hand or wrist, but that slight squeeze of the finger and thumb on the rubber can just give you that little extra bite and brush on contact that you feel like you're really gripping the ball.
It is, it's getting that grip on the rubber and on the ball to accelerate through.
Another thing to really concentrate on here, if you watch Dan slowly, as he contacts the ball, he's looking to really hit at the front area of the bat. Now this allows him that maximum area to brush across the rubber and generate that friction and therefore backspin. So if you're contacting the ball in the middle of the bat or too high, you're not going to get enough backspin. So contact at the front, and that will allow you to generate the friction across the ball.
That's going along that one, Tom. So I think I went a bit too forward there on my technique. A bit more of a flatter angle and getting that crunch.
If you notice as well here, Dan contacts the ball very low as he's making the serve. What a lot of players do is they hit the ball too high on contact, and you might generate backspin, but it can then be quite bouncy and easier for your opponent. So low contact point equals low over the net.
And a final little tip is experiment with your ball height when you throw it up. When you toss it in the air, if you go for a higher throw up, you actually get more spin because there's more downward force.
More momentum carried in from the ball.
And you see a lot of pros, they do chuck the ball high, and it means you get more downward force, as you mentioned, Tom.
Again, it's something that's quite individual. So experiment with what works for you. Some people are more confident with a lower throw, and some people are more confident and feel they can generate spin with a higher toss.
So there we go, guys. That was how to do the backspin ghost serve, a good step-by-step guide. Make sure you take your time on each step. It really will make a big difference to improving your serve.
Yeah, there are a couple key points to remember. That nice grip using the finger and thumb, which allows you to accelerate with that wrist and get that fine brushing contact, keeping a low contact point as well, and that nice flat angle, which allows you to generate backspin and bring that ball back to you.
Sure does. Guys, try and do 20 minutes a few times a week. It really will help, even if you're just doing one step at a time. But once you start really getting the use of each step, then push yourself up and it will come into your game.
Also, don't forget to check out our Per Gorell serving masterclass. For more information on a wide variety of different serves, check that out in the links below. Oh, now before I forget, it's really important that when you're serve practicing, you have a good box of balls, a good number so you're not wasting time and you're getting the most maximum benefit out of your serve practice. Isn't that right, Dan?
It sure is.